Hello, this is MajGP from BMS. Today we'll demonstrate a little upgrade in the fuel transfer system that will be implemented update 1. In 438, one of the community member has spotted that there was a very specific situation in the F16 manual that he was unable to reproduce in the sim, and indeed the fuel transfer system needed a little bit of upgrade in order to simulate that very specific situation scenario. So basically the upgrade is about the split between the siphoning system and the pumping system. What happens is that when you fly with external bags, the center line is pressurized. They are pressurized, and the center line is limited to 18,000 pounds per hour of fuel rate transfer, and the wing bags are limited to 15,000 pounds per hour each. That means that if you fly with the 3 tanks with the center line first, if you fly above 18,000 pounds per hour of fuel flow, you will start to deplete the wing tanks because the center line is only able to deliver 18,000. And once the wing tanks have been depleted, then the siphoning system is no more working between the wing tanks and the fuselage reservoir, which then electrical pumps are taking fuel from the wings to the fuselage. The problem is that those electrical pumps are limited to 3,000 pounds per hour each, which means you have 6,000 pounds per hour of fuel rate transfer from the wings to the fuselage. And keep in mind that the bags are feeding the wings that are feeding the fuselage. So all over, you are feeding the fuselage from the bags to a rate of a maximum cumulated 6,000 pounds per hour. So if you continue flying above 6,000 pounds per hour, you will start to deplete internal fuselage fuel, which could lead to a trap fuel and ultimately to a flame out, while your bags will be still not full, but with quite a quantity. So let's demonstrate that now. Let's fly quick and fast and low. So now I'm flying above 60,000 fuel flow. As you can see in the debug window, of course the external center line is depleted, and wing tanks are also depleting fast. That is because we are pumping nearly 80,000 pounds per hour of fuel, while the center line can only deliver 18. So we start consuming our wing fuel. So let's accelerate to the point where we have no more fuel in the wings, which is the case here. Then that means that there is no more siphoning between the wing tanks and the fuselage tanks. We are limited now by the electrical pumps from the wing to the fuselage. So as long as I fly above 6,000 cumulated fuel flow, I will continue to deplete my fuselage. If I fly below 6,000, then you can see the fuselage F1 and A1 start to get fuel again. This is because we are pumping at 3,000 into those tanks, while we are asking only 1,000 fuel flow. So if I go at above 6,000, like 7,000, you can see that fuselage fuel will start to decrease again. And of course, after 30 seconds of this situation, you can see trap fuel in the HUD that indicates that you have trapped fuel in the external bags. So the only way, here you have to be very careful, because if you fly above 6,000 fuel flow, which is quite common, I would say, you will continue running on your fuselage fuel, which could lead to a flame out. So let's demonstrate that.
Caution. Caution.
And here we go. Flame out. While I still have 3,200 pounds of fuel in the external bags. I am in flame out. So of course, now that I don't ask for fuel anymore, the system is pumping in the fuselage reservoir again.
Warning, 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 warning.
And here you can ask why the IFT reservoir does not get fuel anymore from the tanks. Well, here, because we have coded the automatic forward fuel transfer system, which detects when there is an unbalance in the gravity center in the aircraft, and which is pumping from the aft reservoir to the forward reservoir in order to keep the center of gravity in a flyable position. That is why here the forward reservoir is getting some fuel while the aft does not, which means in this case we can restart anyway. Normally we can. Let's try that. Start 2. No, GSF not running. Yes, GSF running. Oof, that would be difficult, maybe in the valley. Let's go to the forward reservoir. That has more fuel. As I switch to the forward reservoir, the automatic forward fuel transfer system is no more operating, and that is why the aft reservoir starts to get fuel as well. Too bad, too low.